This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Well, hi there, welcome to the show. I am Ray, he is Kenny, and boy, have we been busy since we last saw you.
Indeed we have. Cattle producers beware. The grass you're feeding your livestock could be doing more harm than good. Coming up, you'll hear from a forage expert about a toxic condition responsible for nearly $2 billion in losses annually. Also on the program, Damon Jones with a heartwarming and tummy-warming story of what these 4-H'ers in Oglethorpe County are doing to provide hot meals for needy families.
And then later, whether you're looking at it from high above or inside the facility, like we got to do, the Pure Flavor Complex in Fort Valley is a sight to behold. You're going to hear from a company spokesperson on the many benefits it'll provide the state of Georgia. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
As spring draws closer, you're going to see more and more sunlight, not to mention experience some warmer temperatures. For cattle producers, that's a great thing as pastures start to grow and turn green. Or is it? John Holcomb spoke to a forage expert who talked about something that could be hurting your livestock.
What if I told you that experts say your pastures could be hurting your business? Would you believe me? Well, you should. It's called toxicosis, and it's an issue in animals caused by toxins in a certain type of grass. It can be really harmful to your livestock and ultimately your wallet.
Tall fescue has what's known as an endophyte that lives inside of it. It's a fungus that lives inside of that plant, and in association with that plant, it can produce some toxic alkaloids. Alkaloids are compounds like caffeine, or in this case, ergovaline is one of the main ones. Lysergic acid, there are several different types of these alkaloids. And these toxins actually cause various metabolic problems in the animal.
Problems with livestock include things like reduction in animal production, reduction in gains on livestock, milk production, and reproductive efficiency. The good news to producers is that the toxins aren't found in all fescue, but if you're in the southeast, most likely you've got it on your farm.
It's definitely not something that's in all fescue, but most of the fescue that was planted in the 40s, the 50s, and 60s, and really up until recent times, has this toxic endophyte in it. Particularly the variety Kentucky 31, which was so widespread and planted across so many acres across the southeast. So it's a huge amount of acreage, and a lot of damage is being done as a result of it.
It's estimated that almost $2 billion is lost each year because of this. And Hancock says that all cattle producers in Georgia should expect these toxins to be in their fields unless they know for sure they've worked to get rid of them.
A producer in Georgia generally should expect that if they have fescue, unless they know it's planted to a novel endophyte or endophyte-free tall fescue variety, they should expect that fescue is actually producing that toxin. And if there is any significant amount of fescue in a pasture, it can contribute enough toxins to induce this fescue toxicosis issue.
There is some good news though, and that's the fact that this problem in your pastures can be fixed, and the spring would be a good time to start.
What one needs to do is to, in the spring of the year, prevent seed head production on the existing tall fescue, and that prevents any toxin from carrying over from what you're killing out and coming into the next crop.
And if producers are still not sure or need further help, Dr. Hancock and the University of Georgia are hosting a workshop to help educate producers on this topic.
We have established a workshop that we'll be doing on March 15th in Calhoun, Georgia, that will cover A to Z on how to actually go through the process of eliminating that toxic tall fescue and replacing it with novel endophyte tall fescue, and also to help producers to understand what are some of these signs and symptoms that they're seeing out there and what's actually causing that problem, so they know a little bit more about it and know how to replace that toxic tall fescue with the novel endophyte tall fescue.
Reporting in Watkinsville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Now, meantime, one of the 4 pillars of the 4-H motto is pledge your hands to a larger service. In Oglethorpe County, the 4-H office there is practicing what they preach with their Cooking to Share program. Damon Jones tells you how it's beneficial for both the students and the community.
It's said that nothing brings people together like food. That's why these 4-H students gather at the Oglethorpe Extension office every month as they prepare meals for a family in need as part of their Cooking to Share program. It's not only a great way of giving back to the community, but it also provides a valuable experience for the kids.
It's a great way for them to learn some cooking skills, some food safety skills, some skills revolving to keeping themselves out of harm's way in terms of germs and bacteria and things like that.
We have a little lesson before we start cooking, so they'll learn about food safety, kitchen safety, foodborne illnesses, why it's important to wash your hands, cutlery lessons, how to cut properly. So just little lessons like that before we start to cook. Then we'll start cooking the food. They'll wash their hands and break up into different groups, and they'll cook different dishes for the family that we're cooking for.
It's an ever-changing menu that has been carefully put together by the 4-H staff that provides a balanced diet for the families.
Myself, Jade, and Marcus sit down each month and come up with a healthy meal for the families. We come up with a snack, appetizer, desserts, entrees, something we find plentiful and fulfilling for the families.
Over the years, nearly 1,000 students have participated in this program, cooking meals for more than 40 different families in need. It's the type of service project that will instill important values at a young age.
We hope the kids take away a sense of giving, a sense of selflessness. They cook all this food that looks delicious and they don't get to eat it. They have a chance to give it out to the families. And again, it just gives them a sense of purpose and a sense of being.
Sounds like a good place for the food to go. The kids are learning lots, but also we need to help out the community as well. The kids get a sense of volunteerism and helping out their community. So it's 2 for 1.
And it's something that has gotten universal praise, especially from the parents who can see a difference in their children after they participate.
Great response. The parents love it. The parents love the fact that, number one, the kids are learning some cooking skills so they can help out cooking around the home. They also love the idea that the children are giving back to a family that is in need in our own community.
Well, we heard from mothers that come pick up their kids, like after they've done Cooking to Share a couple of times, my child's actually asking to help cook breakfast now, and they're more helpful in the kitchen, and it also just helps build confidence in their abilities.
While it is work chopping, mixing, and cooking, there is also plenty of fun to be had for these students, which is why there is never an empty slot in the program.
We have a full class every single time. We have 20 kids that sign up well in advance for the classes. Again, it gives the kids a chance to get out of school, play some games, provide a service, get their hands dirty, they get to make some food. And again, they get to learn skills that will last them a lifetime, cooking skills, sanitation skills, hand washing skills, just things that will really help them propel themselves forward.
Reporting from Lexington, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you so much. Well, new jobs, economic development, and year-round cucumbers and tomatoes. After the break, the Monitor takes you inside the Pure Flavor facility in Fort Valley.
So every day is a little bit different. One day I may be out visiting a farm that has a question, they're having some issues. Program-wise, I'm all over the place. We're planning an equine program for next year, sheep and goats. Whatever my community is calling for. We have a lot of cattle and poultry here in Carroll County, a lot of small vegetable, and then a big area that's really blossomed over the last 7 years I've been here is the wine grape industry. When farmers are asked about me, they say wonderful things, and that makes me feel good that I know I'm doing my job, I'm doing it well, and they know I'm a good, trustworthy resource for them, and that I'm here and I can bring the research and information from UGA out to them, and that they trust me.
If you've driven through Fort Valley lately, you may have noticed this massive megastructure just off Highway 96. That, my friends, is a state-of-the-art greenhouse and part of a $105 million project courtesy of Canada-based Pure Flavor. Well, recently, the Monitor was given a personal tour of the facility where we got to learn all about its day-to-day operations and how it will not only create new jobs and regional economic development, but also provide fresh Georgia-grown vegetables to millions of people across the U.S.
In Georgia, this is our first project. We researched hundreds of different sites throughout the U.S. for that first initial American investment and settled on Fort Valley and Peach County. Shovels in the ground, first shovel in the ground was the 27th of September back in 2017. A year and 3 months later, first tomato crop was picked. This facility is built in 3 stages, each phase of 25 acres. So phase 1 right now of 25, half is 12.5 acres of cucumbers and half is 12.5 acres of tomatoes. Within the tomato crop, we have tomatoes on the vine, cocktail tomatoes, and we have a very small area of snacking tomatoes. On the cucumber side, we have long English cucumbers. We have these mini small Persian or mini cucumbers as well. This facility was built to help grow our business in the southeastern U.S. The business and the landscape is changing season over season. The types of products and variety and quality and so forth is constantly changing. What we do as growers is ensure a consistent quality in our product, shape, color, size throughout, regardless of the time of the year. And the different types of tomatoes, we have 15 different types of tomatoes, 4 different types of peppers, 4 different types of cucumbers, and 2 or 3 different types of eggplant, and a whole slew of organic items as a greenhouse vegetable company. The unique part about greenhouse growing is how does the plant come to life? And the way we grow is very common amongst most greenhouse growers throughout North America. It all starts with the growing medium. These plants start off in a brick, and the plants are roughly about 18 inches tall when they come to the farm. And over the course of the life of the plant, it'll grow approximately 10 inches a week in a healthy environment. So what happens with this plant is that we actually have a feeding tube that provides nutrition, but also fresh water to help the plant grow. So we have 2 in here, one for nutrition, 1 for irrigation. Whatever the plant doesn't take up to feed itself actually gets leached through the bag, the grow bag, and gets caught in this gutter system. The gutter system then recycles the water. We have a 100% closed loop watering irrigation system, so there's no nutrient water that gets released in the local waterways. Another really cool aspect about the bags is that inside this magical bag is the growing medium. And in this case, we're using recycled coconut husks as the growing medium. Why coconut husks? They have excellent nutrient retention, they hold water very well, and they, as you can see here, the root system is really quite something. It's deeply, deeply rooted inside the product. Now, within that aspect, these plants can grow up to be 50 feet long. So how do we train these plants? Well, we actually use these strings or guide wires to train the plant to grow up. And depending on the growth cycle, these plants actually get lowered, and as when the plant gets lowered, then it's coming to the time where it's actually going to be picked. So see here, this product will probably be picked within the next week. So you see some red starting to happen. King fruit on the bottom is still green, but there'll be a natural coloring process to the vine. Another interesting fact about greenhouse product is that we use good bugs to take care of the bad bugs to reduce the need for pesticides. So we call it an integrated pest management system. So we use, for example, ladybugs to eat those bad bugs. We actually use other positive or beneficial bugs to take care of those bad bugs. And here's an example of some eggs here of beneficial bugs. The unique aspect about greenhouse growing is that we can control 100% of the growing environment. What does that mean? We control the water, the nutrition, the heat, the daylight, the venting, basically providing in a controlled environment the most optimal growing scenario for these plants, which, as you can see over my shoulder here, a consistent size and quality of product. That is one of the key products or byproducts of greenhouse growing, is that consistency. Now, we can never forget about flavor. Flavor is key. We leave our product on the vine as long as possible to nurture it so it maximizes the flavor. What we've done is we've been able now to grow year-round throughout the winter months and have a flavorful tomato and cucumber coming out of the center part of the state in Peach County, which hasn't been done in November, December, January, February, or March for that matter. What we've done as well is that we're ensuring a consistent supply, that consumers can enjoy that locally grown product with fresher product to their shelves faster, and with the key of reducing food miles. That's the real benefit to this, is that that product is coming to you. It's been in Georgia, for example. We're just, what, an hour and 3/4 south of Atlanta. You know, normally you may see a product come from South Florida or even South America or Mexico for that matter. But having this Georgia grown product grown close to home really allows us to, you know, build a unique brand in the state of Georgia and supporting the Georgia grown program itself.
And don't forget, if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor. Plenty of stuff to choose from. In fact, the archive goes all the way back to 2009.
And while you're there, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page. Send us feedback as well. And if you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address on your screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Up next, it's part 2 of our conversation with former Georgia Governor Nathan Deal. In his own words, Governor Deal discusses his future plans, as well as something he says was one of the more emotionally trying moments during his time in office.
Getting your Irish on in Tennessee. As St. Patrick's Day nears, leaders with UT's Institute of Agriculture are enthused about future collaborations in Ireland, a country known for its beauty and its farming. A UTIA group traveled there recently, meeting with faculty at 4 Irish colleges doing a lot of agricultural research, as well as representatives of the Irish government.
With it being a very rural country, it really relates to Tennessee.
Tom Gill is director of the Smith International Center and led the group visiting Ireland. Irish professors and researchers talked to UT leaders about environmental concerns, water quality, and food safety, issues we deal with here as well. Gill sees great potential for these UTIA Irish connections.
There's opportunities for us to bring students over here and do some co-mentoring, advising, have students work in our labs, in our field work. There's also a lot of opportunities for our faculty to do joint research, extend the findings of their research.
Bragging here, my DNA is about 1/4 Irish, and I got to visit this amazing country last fall. Here's my signature photo, a beautiful stone bridge in an area called Glendalough near Dublin. Tennessee and Ireland have roughly the same population, about 6 million. What they also share in common, some really wonderful people.
One of the biggest draws of working with partners in Ireland is the warmth and the welcoming attitude of the Irish people.
Herbert College of Agriculture student Hannah Holt loved her time in Ireland, meeting people and studying animal science at the University College of Dublin.
It was wonderful. They were really great. I had some wonderful, wonderful professors. I had lots of opportunities. I did the equine track, so I got to take classes in genetics and reproduction.
Hannah believes those courses will be a boost to her future career, all because she took a chance and crossed the Atlantic. Ireland is more than 3,000 miles from Tennessee, but not worlds apart when it comes to agriculture. These potential partnerships could bring us even closer. Emerald green teaming with big orange. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Last week, we showed you part one of our interview with Nathan Deal before he left the governor's mansion.
Well, this week we want to share with you the second part of that interview where Governor Deal talks about his post office plans, his faith, and his last message to the ag community.
Well, I think as I get older and I look back upon the course of my life, I have to say that there was a higher power that was guiding me. Sometimes guiding me when I didn't want to be guided by doors closing, but others opening. And I think you have to be a person of faith to understand that these are reasons that you may not understand at the time, but if you accept them and you proceed to do your best in whatever you're allowed to do, good things will happen. And I think God has guided me. I think He has blessed me and blessed my family, and I am constantly thankful for that. And I say my prayers every night, and I thank Him for it. Well, I want to say to them what I've said to people all across this state. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for having faith in my administration. I especially thank them for supporting my wife as she went through breast cancer surgery and her magnificent recovery, which has been phenomenal. The letters that have gone to her and the prayers that have gone up on her behalf have really been appreciated. She's come through it with flying colors, and I think she proved that women are indeed stronger than men. She went through all of it, the surgery, the chemo, the radiation, and she has yet to take a pain pill. I am not that strong. I complain when I have a backache, but she has done well, and the agriculture community and people in this state at large have been very, very supportive. And I think that makes us feel that we have been appreciated, and it makes us feel that what we have done is going to have lasting significance. You know, I've been asked that question a lot, as you can imagine. I found the safest answer I can give is I'm going to do what Sandra tells me to do. She overheard me say that one time, and she said, well, that'll be the first time he's done that. She says that what we're going to do is rest, and I agree with her. We're 76 years old, both of us, and it's time to slow down a little bit. I think she also has on our agenda, she wants us to write our memoirs. And I tell her, I said, well, you better let's hurry up and get to do it because my memory is fading fast. We'll have plenty to do, but it'll be able to be done a little more leisurely and at our schedule. We've been very busy, and I use her as an example. When you read in every county, all 159, when you read in every school district, 181, and when you read in over 1,000 individual classrooms to young children to encourage them to learn to read, as she has done, it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of energy, and I am thankful that she was able to do that, and she set a great example too of what First Ladies can do when they take on significant projects, and the importance of early learning and early reading skills are one of the most important foundational skill sets that our children can have, and I think that she's done a great job of encouraging that. So we're thankful for a lot of things, but that's sort of the summary of what we have been able to do, and we appreciate the support. The people of this state are great people. That's one of the things that you learn when you go around the state, is that whether they're in metropolitan areas, whether they're in deep South Georgia rural areas, they all have a same kind of upbeat spirit.
Governor Deal, thank you so much. And of course, you can find his entire interview online at our YouTube channel. And with that, we will say so long until next time.
But first, a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Be sure you check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us on the show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
As always, have a great week.